United States, we've got a really big problem. And that problem is inequality. Men fought hard for women to have equal rights. Do you stop at any point in time to recognize that? Do you stop at any point in time to recognize that you are the only one to blame for your dating decisions? When you date, you're the one who says yes. A man is expected to be the one to march across the room. And in modern times, mind you, okay, he could get arrested for doing this if a woman feels uncomfortable. That means if you're bald, got some big old thick Coke bottle glasses, got a little bit of a beer belly, and you think that you click with this woman because she has the same sense of humor you do, you think, hey, we got something in common. Nah, dude, you look fucking creepy. What the fuck are you thinking? No, dude, you're gonna come across as rapey because you just don't have the right look. You just don't matter as a human being. We got laws now that make it so that a man is not allowed to show up in court. Can you imagine that? Laws that make it okay to prevent a man from showing evidence. Then, of course, there's all of the anti-homeless bullshit. Holy dear God. 85% of those homeless in the United States are men. 85%. Because a man's expected to do it all himself. A woman's idea of helping a man is telling him to do it himself. Or asking a million questions. Hold on, you know what? We don't need you to ask 10 million questions like we're a fucking retarded child who doesn't want to tell about the bad things. No, we're trying to get you to fucking listen. You won't shut up. When you date a dude because he's 6 foot tall and good looking, well, congratulations. But he's a prize to be won. You're being just as dumb as that fat dude with the Coke bottle glasses and the bald head. You're being just as dumb as him, coming up to you and thinking that he stands a chance. If you give him a chance, it's so you can get free fucking dinner out of him. And yeah, that's fucking hurtful. What, you expect good men to just buy and pay for everything? That's horrible. Because we're already doing that. How can you get any more out of us than you're already taking? How's that even possible? I get to hear about how everything is a man's fault. You know what? You dated him. None of us made you date that dude who's 6 foot tall with options. He can throw you away like you're trash. And then, of course, we've got the pretty young ladies, don't we? The ones that everybody is expected to cater to. The ones who, if you march across the room to ask her out, you're rapey because you're not good looking. You're creepy because you're not good looking. You're a weirdo because you're not good looking. Now, you could trump that, though, by having money. We know there's a lot of gold diggers. This is the United States of America. It's a capitalist nation. I listened to a woman today, just a few minutes ago. She has her own YouTube thing where she talks about the decline of modern society, but she blames Marxist communism. No, all these problems existed before Marxist communism. All of the issues that she talks about, with the exception of birth control, existed before Marxist communism. And birth control was not the result of Marxist communism. We teach women different than men. Women are just as competitive, if not more so, than men, and you gotta ask a woman that. How competitive are women with one another? Now, when it comes to hate, well, many women are united in that. You can thank their fathers for the most part. Nope, that's not true, is it? Because although a father is the most likely person to be a sexual predator, the mother is more likely for every single other type of abuse, including killing your own child. What's worse, being raped or being killed? Now let's take a look at the tale of two women, Natalie Bollinger and Jamie Curtis. And I'm not talking about the famous Hollywood actress. This is just a woman I know from Chapel, Nebraska, who happens to have the same name. Jamie grew up with a big gap between her teeth. She got braces, and when she got her braces off, her teeth were straight, and she was magically now a beautiful woman. She got to see the difference between what the pretty girls got when she wasn't one of the pretty girls. But one thing that she had when she wasn't one of the pretty girls is friends who actually cared about her. When she got her braces off, she was, how do I say this? Promiscuous as fuck. She loved getting the attention with not having that big gap between her teeth. She had straight teeth, and it made it easy for her to smile and not be afraid of being made fun of. She could smile and be beautiful and flaunt it and enjoy it, and she did. And she lured older men and men her age, and even a few younger men. I call it luring because that's what she was doing. She was finding men that she could take advantage of. Men that she only had to pretend to care about, and they would be putty in her hands. I was taking a lot of abuse in Chapel, Nebraska. And I had attempted to end my own existence. And I was going to go make another attempt. And on the way to make another attempt, I found out that Jamie's mother had died. Now, Jamie had always been nice to me. Always. Ever since the first day I met her, she had never been mean to me. I did everything that I could to help her and her son. Now, many years later, there's a man that she had, well, as we all know, there's a lot of women who, if they don't get what they want, start spreading rumors, or if they don't like a guy, they'll go spreading rumors. There's a woman named Jackie McKenzie, and Jamie had told not just myself, but several other people that James Payton had raped Jackie. Now, Jackie, I've got the evidence from Jackie, from her account, verified from her account. It is her, saying that James Payton did not rape her. Now, Jamie Curtis later on went out with James Payton, and she needed a rescue many, many years after her and I were no longer in contact because she didn't want James to get jealous. Well, with every guy in Jamie's life, she had been able to manipulate him by shaking her, winking her eyes, so to speak. Well, say it as mildly and kindly as possible, because we're trying to be civil here, aren't we? So Jamie got a hold of me. This is after Natalie Bollinger had rescued me. Natalie Bollinger grew up in a family full of drug addicts, drug dealers, child molesters, spousal abusers, alcoholics. The women in her life had been taught much the same as she had, that she is not to be held responsible. Her decisions are not her fault. It's always a man's fault. No matter what, it is always a man's fault. And no matter how competitive women get, when you pull the us girls gotta stick together thing, you can find a few man haters out there that'll help you to destroy a man's life, and all of you know it, and all of you do it. Or damn nearly all of you. Of course, not all women, or damn near all women. A lot of women are not able to do that. They're only able to play on the poor me, I'm a woman part, because they're not young and beautiful anymore, or they never were. There's a lot of women, well, that never had the money for braces, never got to be beautiful like Jamie did. She got her 6-foot hunk. Rippling muscles. I don't know how many women I've heard tell me, oh, you know, I think that rippling muscles are disgusting. I think the guys that are big like that, I think it's gross. But then, as soon as they run into a guy like that, they can't keep their eyes off of him like he's a piece of candy. When you want to talk about men being shameless, when we look at women, right? Do we all look at women? We acknowledge your fucking existence. That's what we're taught to do. When that guy marches across the room and you treat him like he's rapey, and then you start spreading rumors, you start saying, oh, he was totally creeping on me at this party. Oh, I know that guy. He's totally a creeper. I seen him at this party and he was creeping on me all night. No. Well, you got to be like that. It takes a lot for a guy to actually build up the cojones, especially when he's not the dude who's 6 foot tall. The dude who's 6 foot tall knows how to sweet talk you, and you'll eat everything that he says up. You'll eat it up like it's candy. You go to bed with him and wonder why he didn't call you back the next day. Well, it's because he's got options. He said what he needed to because he was horny and he wanted to get fucking laid. But that guy who, takes his time because, yeah, he's fucking afraid to come talk to you. A lot of women have been fucking shitty to him. A lot of women do this whole scenario like with Jamie. Jamie went out with James after the whole, rippling muscles are gross. And after telling me that he was a rapist. See, this is something that Maddie Boa did. When Jamie was mad at James for whatever reason and said that he raped Jackie McKenzie. Well, actually, it's Jackie Payne Blue, but whatever. Jackie didn't go running around saying those things. Jamie did. Natalie didn't go running around saying I raped anybody or molested anybody. Maddie Boa did. And she needs to answer for it. Who did I rape? Who did I molest? Matty Boa, come forward. If you're going to fucking accuse people of that shit, if you're going to go spreading rumors like that, then who? Who? There's a big difference between people committing a crime and someone pretending that somebody else might. What have we taught all women to do when they do something wrong, when they do something evil or competitive or cruel because of their addictions, because of the people they want to care about them? When they do evil things, do we hold them accountable? When that guy comes across the room and you tell him no, you know what? We know that no means no. But then there's the when a woman feels rejected thing. I've had a lot of women that tried to have sex with me when they were drunk, and I tell them all the same thing. If I'm not good enough when you're sober, you can't have me when you're drunk. Some women said they respected me for that, and a lot of them didn't. A lot of them were angry about that and retaliated because somehow me not being interested in playing with their snotty spots somehow equates to me being a horrible person because I rejected them. And that's just not okay. When Jamie said she needed a hero, I was on my way to see Natalie, who had rescued me. Rescued me from a lot of abuse. A lot of abuse. A lot of people taking advantage of me for my money. And it isn't much money. It's not like I'm rich. So, when Natalie needed a rescue, I showed up. When Jamie needed a rescue, I showed up. I showed up in Rapid City, South Dakota in September of 2016. I was on my way to Virginia to go see Natalie. Her family was pushing her to commit suicide again. All the bullying that I have to go through. Natalie had to go through a little bit of that. She's got a horrible family, and I will vouch for that. I have had to deal with these people for years. I've also had to deal with them only because mandated reporters wouldn't do their jobs, and my friends and family didn't give a shit. They wanted to tell me what to do, what to think, and what to feel. And it's not the things that they would do if it was a woman. Especially not a woman they were attracted to. Now, a child, on the other hand, yeah, most people will look the other way to child abuse. They'll talk about how horrible it is and what they'd do if they met a child abuser, if they saw someone abusing a child in public. Oh, boy. Y'all got no idea what it's really like. We've taught girls that if they do something wrong, that they're not to be held responsible. They were forced to do it because of misogyny. Because men exist, then it makes it men's fault. And the more unattractive he is, the more you take shit out on him. How dare he look your direction even? Oh my God, he was undressing me with his eyes. Lock him up. And people will. If a pretty young girl pretends like somebody harmed her, the cops will be the fucking fastest ones to go harm him and play vigilante. When a guy needs help, he's, what, blown off, that's right. Or told he shouldn't have been there. Told that it's his fault for being there. Right before Natalie was killed, while Natalie was pretending like I would hurt her and she was afraid for her life and blah, 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 I actually did have to be afraid for mine. While she wanted to pretend like I had threatened to kill her and her family, People were actually threatening to kill me and mine. Well, her friends were making up fake account after fake account to harass me on Facebook and YouTube. I was trying to get help stopping the abuse. And you get to see how much trouble I get into for doing what I'm told. How none of what I'm sent through, none of what I am put through does anything except eat up my time and my money, and I can't take care of myself. But that makes me easy to victimize. 81% of those who are incarcerated were homeless when they were arrested. 85% of those who are homeless are men. The majority of those who get unhomeless do not do it alone. They have help, they have assistance, and most of them are coupled up. A lot of people, they keep company because, well, there is benefit from having that company. And when you engage in a sexual relationship and a partnership in doing so, you're more likely to do things for that person who is willing to have sex with you and is helping to pay part of your bills than you are for somebody who's been a friend for 20 years. Jamie told me that if anything bad happened to her, that James did it. When she needed a rescue in 2016, and I went up there and I helped her move out of James's house. And the first night in her new apartment, there was nothing in it yet. She was packing up boxes when James came home. She came back the next day, battered and bruised. Bruised all up one whole side of her body. Her back, her legs, her arms. So of course, I tried to talk her into going to the cops, but she wouldn't do that. She told her son Zyler that he had pushed her down the stairs. According to James Payton, he just pushed her away from him because she hit him. Now, he didn't say that the first 2 or 3 times he told the story, and I've got it recorded 2 or 3 times. He also claims he was dating Jamie at the time that she was letting me know. She said, you know what, James came to my house. He came and found me because of you. You gave him my address. No, I didn't. She had told me that she was afraid of James Payton. After I'd helped to rescue her on the trip to go see Natalie, and it wasn't just to go see Natalie, it was a lot of other people. I got a lot of evidence of that too. All the money that I had to go visit these people was spent rescuing Jamie and her son from James Payton. That was in 2016. That was right before I went to see Natalie. I didn't get there till the very end of September, early October. Chesapeake, Virginia. In 2017, when Jamie was telling me how afraid she was of James, of being in the same town as him, that she was going to call me once a week, to call her once a week to make sure that she's all right. And I did. When she didn't call for 2 weeks after telling me if anything happened to her, if she disappeared, if she didn't answer, James did something to her, I did the only thing I could do. I exposed the situation, and that was at the same time that I exposed Ted Bollinger for raping Natalie. I didn't deserve any of that abuse. I didn't deserve to be taken advantage of. And I still don't. I'm overwhelmed all the time. I don't have the right genitalia to be treated like a person. No matter what, everything is magically my fault because I'm a male. Girls cut on themselves at 5 times the rate of boys. Do you know why? It's because mom didn't listen when she came to mom about the abuse. See, it's not being beaten on or being raped that results in people cutting on themselves. It's when you go to your trusted adult and they do nothing. It's when you go to your friends and they do nothing. You just need to be heard. You know what hurts worse than being harmed physically and sexually? When the people that are supposed to care don't. When the people who are supposed to care brush you off, they're too busy, they're too busy. Isn't there somebody else who can do it? Oh, you just need to man up. Why don't you just move on? Yeah, that's your easy fucking fix for everything. It's a fucking cop-out, and all of you know it. And stop saying you're fucking sorry. That doesn't fucking help, and that shows us that you're not listening. You're trying to find the parts where you can say the pretty shit that girls are supposed to say. That's the help that we get as men. The I'm sorry, or that's so sad. Yeah, that means you're not gonna do anything. So I have to deal with a lot of predatory women. And the men in their lives. The tools in their life. See, while you call it the friend zone, that's not what it is. It's the toolbox. You're just a tool. You're the same thing to her that she is to that dude who's 6 foot tall and solid muscle. Natalie wanted to pretend like if anything happened to her, that I must have done it. That's because I told on her drug habits. I also told on Jamie's drug habits. She got free drugs. I mean, how does it get better than that? All she had to do was have sex with people. Most of the time, she didn't even have to do that. She could just string them along. Jamie Curtis is the one who helped me to understand that there's no such thing as being in love. You either love somebody or you don't. I do love her, and I do love her son. She does not love me. She's shown that time and again that I'm just a tool in the toolbox. Well, here's the thing. Her son's birthday is coming up. And I get to make those videos with him public. To show that I told the truth about going up there and rescuing them. About stomping on my phone. Fucking up my foot. How it was fucked up. It sucked. Well, Jamie made James out to be some horrible monster who was beating on her because he was a controlling asshole. The fact is, she had created that to try to manipulate. She was dating a guy, uh, Mr. Harmon. I'm trying to remember his first name. Well, while she was dating that Harmon feller, she was also dating James Payton. Yeah, she went back to him after a beating. And her son does talk about that. He speaks about being afraid of James. And Jamie, of course, when she'd go over to James's after I went there in, I want to say 2019, she wanted to say that her son wanted to go over there and eat dinner at James's. That wasn't the case. And imagine how it is for her son having to be a pawn in that. Having to be dishonest, being taught to be dishonest, to help his mom two different guys at least. It's the same thing she was doing in chapel. She had a whole bunch of nerds that she had led on, a whole bunch of them. And she got a lot of free perks out of it, and she's pretty, and she really liked those perks. The same as Natalie Bollinger. But with me not doing drugs, not using drugs, and having a moral code that I stand by, they weren't able to manipulate me with the standard resources. If all she has to offer is vagina, that's not good enough. That's not what I'm interested in. Hell, we could be friends. Just don't expect any penis out of me. It's not for you. It's not yours, and I don't want to mess around with your snotty spots. I don't want to mess around in anybody's snotty spots. That's not a personal insult. I know a lot of y'all have bragged about how you can get any guy that you want, and then you get drunk and you want me. Well, you only want me because you're drunk. Later on, when you're like, oh, I would never, like hell you wouldn't. With a lot of the women in my life, we didn't have any problems at all until those women got drunk and had expectations. How dare I turn her down, even if she is drunk? Well, I want you to take a look at it from my point of view, from my perspective. If I have sex with you, I know that you, if I reject you, are going to remember it. No matter what, you will remember being rejected. No matter how drunk you were, you will remember being rejected because it feels like shit, doesn't it? A lot of women that I know, I was the first man to ever reject them. It's because a lot of them are beautiful women, and I was nice to most of them. Most, not all. Some of them are just mean. But you get to hear everybody's solutions instead of helping a guy to stop abuse that he's going through. You always want to pawn him off on someone else or tell him he needs to move elsewhere. Over and over and over again. And when it's a disabled person, that's your fucking easy cop-outs, isn't it? Or, oh, you're a beggar. Oh, you chose to be homeless. You chose it, you chose it, you chose it. Isn't that always the case when a man is abused? He chose it. That's why men commit suicide at 5 times the rate of women, starting at the age of 15. We already know there's no such thing as a trusted adult. We're men. We already know nobody's going to listen. We're men. Now, this lady that was blaming commies, one thing that she did bring up is the 1960s. What happened in the 1960s? Birth control. Sexual freedom for women. Now they could have sex with whoever they wanted. They could be very loose about morals. They weren't stuck with a partner. It was a lot easier to get a divorce. It was a lot easier to be promiscuous and get away with it. But then we ran into the issue of the money is not always there for birth control, is it? Sometimes you spend your money on drugs. Sometimes you spend hundreds of dollars on makeup to make yourself pretty so that you can get a man to pay for a $5 meal. You know the guys in your toolbox, the ones who don't quite measure up. They're not 6 foot tall. They're not rippling muscles. They don't have beautiful wavy locks of hair. Women tend to gravitate more towards a man with muscles. However, when it comes to a man's face, women tend to gravitate more towards a face with feminine features, especially long eyelashes. Long eyelashes, they help to draw your attention to the eyes, don't they? For a guy who's not good looking, he has to be worried that if he walks across the room and says even hello to a woman, or if she walks past him and he says hello, that he might be going to jail. So as a man, we have to be afraid to even say hello. And there's a lot of women who are complaining that men won't approach them anymore. Men won't hit on them anymore. Flirt with them, right? It's inappropriate to hit on a woman. But if she wants to flirt with you, it's flirting. It's not hitting on you, right? We just change the terminology. With a woman, we're supposed to pick up all these social cues that she's trying to send off as vibes. Isn't that what we call them? No, it's body language. It's sentence structure, and a lot of women, sorry to say, outpace men as far as the argument department goes. The reason for this is because we teach men to serve women and children. That is our purpose in life, is to be your martyrs, to take the abuse that was meant for you. When a woman does something wrong, inevitably she's going to go hiding behind a man. You go to your women friends and you go spreading slander about him, and then it's men who are expected to do something, isn't it? Natalie's actual abusers I told on. Some of them were her family. One of them was an ex-boyfriend she was playing, Tim Beeson. All these people knew about her drug addiction, and most of them preyed on it. Tim Beeson gave Natalie drugs to get pussy. Ted Bollinger gave his daughter drugs so that he could take advantage of her sexually. You know how messed up that is? You know how messed up it is for me being the guy that she's telling, and it turned out I'm not the only guy she told. She told a lot of people that didn't give a shit. Before Natalie was killed, she pretended like if anything happened to her, that it was me who did it. Now imagine where James would be today after Jamie had let me know all the things that she had told me, and chances are pretty good that she told Nova Wellmouth a lot of those things too. I'm for goddamn certain that Todd Rust was aware of the situation in Rapid City, South Dakota, and all the bruises on Jamie Curtis after her altercation with James. There's a lot of people in Chapel, Nebraska that were aware of it, and it happened in South Dakota. That's because of Todd Rust. If James Payton, after Jamie said all that stuff about him to myself, to Nova, and to others, imagine if somebody had taken the opportunity to kill her, to shoot her in the head with her ex-boyfriend's gun, or her boyfriend's gun. Like I said, she was two-timing with James and Mr. Harmon for a while. Like, literally years. Imagine if Mr. Harmon, if Jamie had Mr. Harmon's gun and somebody shot her with it. And James Payton got blamed. How would James feel then? His family actually cared. My family didn't. Meanwhile, I don't know how many times James yelled at Jamie, or how many times Jamie yelled at me. But I do know prior to 2019, I had never yelled at Jamie. Never. Not once ever. When she used her son as a pawn, oh yeah, I screamed. You don't do that shit. We've taught women to play horrible head games, and that it's okay to do it with no remorse. How do you make yourself feel better after you've helped to destroy a man's life? You go shopping, don't you? We go to these people who are mandated reporters when we're harmed, and they send us in 100 other directions. Have you called this place? Have you called that place? Have you called this place? Hey, how about you stop? Maybe we could go through the list of the places that I called. How about I start telling you? This is a problem with making us go in alone. Making us do it all ourselves as men. Especially when we're disabled. You don't stop to recognize a person's quality of life. Natalie Bollinger didn't stop to understand how the lies that she told, and the lies that her sister told, and the lies that Maddie Boa told, how those all resulted in me being abused. It just didn't fucking occur to them I let Natalie Bollinger know that I was being abused in November of 2016. By then, I'd already let Kayla Trujillo know that I was being abused. I'd already tried to get in contact with Joanna Taylor Smith and explain what was going on. I was going to my friends for help stopping the abuse. But they're always too busy. When I tell them about abuse, you can hear later on when I tell them about it again, and they go, "Oh, I didn't hear that story." Well, that's funny because I got it recorded at least 5 or 6 times telling some of these people. They just didn't pay any attention because I didn't matter. When you actually care about someone, you hang on their words. When someone says, "Hey, if you do this, it hurts me," and you go out of your way not to do those things because you actually care about them. When you don't care about someone, you make empty promises, but you don't keep your word. For a disabled male, it's especially harmful. While Jamie can do a lot of stuff for herself, she doesn't have to because she uses her feminine wiles, as you might call it. It's not feminine wiles, it's the fact that she got braces and it made her teeth straight. If it hadn't been for that, well, sure, she could have the greatest body in the world, but people would still be stuck on the fact that she got such crooked goddamn teeth. I understand why she went apeshit when she got her braces off, when she was no longer buck-toothed, with a big old gap between them, when people didn't call her goofy anymore. I understand why she didn't like that, and I understand why she liked the fact that I was nice to her. You know, she told me when she was, I want to say she was 23, 22 or 23. She told me she'd had a crush on me since she was 9. She's 6 years younger than me. Natalie Bollinger also told me that she'd had a crush on me since she was pretty young. You know what our interaction was? Me and Natalie Bollinger and me and Alicia Bollinger, literally all of our interactions were me telling them to go away before they turned 18. Me telling them to go away, to leave me alone, that it wasn't appropriate to be down there. That I didn't feel comfortable with them sitting in the groups that I was sitting in. Someone calling themselves Amir Muhammad is typing stuff in a language that I can't read. I'm sorry, I can't read what you're typing. It's not something that I'm trying to mean as an insult. I understand English. I don't even know what language it is that you're typing in. If you could translate it with Google, that might help. Jamie Curtis did the same thing to James Payton that Natalie Bollinger did to me. Pretended like if something happened, then he must have been the one to do it. She was dating James Payton, according to James. During that same period in 2017, over a year after helping Jamie to move out of James's house and seeing all those bruises on her body. Over a year after leaving Virginia on the trip to see Natalie Bollinger. In 2017, the very end of it, I had to expose both of those women. And I had to expose their predators. They should have come forward about that to begin with. But what do they do instead? They protect their predators. So were they playing me because I was just a joke? Were they pretending to be my friend because they got free stuff out of me? They didn't get any drugs out of me. They didn't get any dick out of me. They didn't get a date out of me. What I had to offer was friendship. But I'm a man, so it must be my fault. There is no trusted adult because I'm a disabled homeless man. All of these services that are sending me around to other services know that I'm too broke. They all know that it does cost money to go to these places. I would like to get more sleep last night, but it was freezing. Most of the women that I know have been taught how to play victim, how to play stupid. Same way police officers and doctors all know how to play stupid. When you tell them about the abuse, but then they tell you you have to get a subpoena to get them in court. And you explain, hey, public pretender, I need you to do your job and subpoena these people. I'm being harmed and you need to do your job. Doesn't matter, does it?